Welcome back to Wild Mama DIY. Today I'm going to show you how I turned this free Facebook find into a new dresser for my bedroom. So this is what we started with. It had been spray painted, covered in stickers, and used as a desk in a child's bedroom. But it was made of solid wood, and I wasn't quite sure what kind of wood it was. I think it's pine in the end. But it was in fairly good condition if you consider everything. I do believe it was made by hand by someone as a project, but it had a lot of good bones, so I decided to get to work on it. First job I had my little helper do was to remove all the stickers that she could manage to get off of the drawers. And then after that, I used this strip away gel to help me remove some of the paint that was on the desk. It was not an easy job, and this stripper probably should have been used on a day that wasn't so hot and sunny because it didn't work as well as I had hoped. But with a lot of sanding, we finally managed. It took me about 2 days worth of sanding. Started with a higher grit, and then I worked my way down to polish it basically with a 240 grit at the end. Once it was more or less done, I gave it all a good clean with some clean spirit or paint thinner. Then I patched up the holes in the drawers using a skewer and some wood glue. And I also used some wood glue to fix some parts that were broken, and I clamped them together overnight just to make sure that everything was really well adhered. My next step was the more fun part, was actually staining the wood. So I used this Village Green wood stain in English leather, sorry, that I've used before on my stairs and in other places in the house. So it goes well with my decor as it is. So the first thing to do is make sure everything is nice and smooth and dust free. And then I just poured it into a cup, thank you Starbucks, and just began with the drawers. I figured that was a good thing to test it and see how it worked on this wood. So I just painted it on a little bit, and then after I painted on a section, I rubbed it off with a towel just to help it blend in, get rid of streaks, and wipe off any excess that was on there. I wasn't quite so happy with the color. This is where I thought it might be pine wood because it was much redder than usual. So I mixed in a couple teaspoons of instant coffee into my wood stain, and I liked the results much better. It was a bit less orangey colored. After it was dry overnight, it was time to add the little drawer pulls. So I measured the center, lined up the drawer pulls that I found on Vinted. They're just so cute look, and marked where each one needed to be. I then drilled the holes into the wood and made sure I had sanded both the top and bottom to get rid of any extra bits. After that was all done, I decided to use beeswax wood polish to buff and treat the wood as it's natural and enhances the grain of the wood. And that was it. It was done. I am just so absolutely thrilled with how this came out. It's my first time trying to restore a piece of furniture like this. And although there are scratches and there's some bits where that paint just would not come off, I still like it because it adds character for me, and it's the story that this desk slash, dressing table has to tell. So now it is in my room, but I am absolutely thrilled with how this has turned out, and I hope you are too. Thank you so much for watching, and remember that if this mama can, so can you.